Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, welcome to New Life Live. So glad you've joined us today, and if you want to be on radio with us, you can. We're going to be in the studio for 2 hours, 1-800-229-3000. And we all have really good attitudes today, so it's a great day to get through when I talk about us.
Versus the days we have bad attitudes, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with
those
you.
cannot be good.
No.
I mean, that's not a good time to go. But today it is Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hello, Jill.
Hello, Steve.
And it kind of sounded like the Seinfeld, hello, Newman, and which, you know, some days I do have that feeling. And then there is Dr. Alice Benton. So hi, Alice.
Hi.
How are you?
Well, I've been praying us all up, you listeners, especially in my car on the way here. So I'm expecting some mighty things from God today on our show.
Good. We need mighty things. Now, let me tell you some really amazing stuff. Some folks have come together. Our most faithful supporters have created a fund to help us get through this crisis. And that fund now, as of Saturday, they want to challenge everybody to come alongside. They want every dollar they give to be doubled. And so it's a matching fund, and the catch is that we don't get to use it until somebody says match it with my dollars. $376,534 as of last night is what that fund is. Now, we have a new thing, and I'd love for you to try it, and it's called just simply texting to give. We've never been able to do this before, but finally, you know, after a century behind everybody else, here it is. If you were to text NLM match to this number, 28950. So you put in, you know, go to the text, and here's who you text. It's a number, 28950. And then in the body of it, where you type in, you know, hey, you're wonderful. Don't type that. Just type in NLM match. And then there should be a little pop-down screen that tells you, hey, you could give here. You put in the amount, and it does it for you. Pretty excited about that. Very excited about this matching gift to be this, because if we can get this totally matched, you see, well, we've had a cash flow shortage. It just happens when you're not doing seminars and people aren't signing up for, you know, the hotels and all this. It produces an instant cash flow problem, and so this helps us greatly, and we are thrilled. There's so many committed, dedicated people who give to New Life. And you know, they've gone through what I call this transformational giving, where it's not an obligation. You know, when the person recovers, they kind of wake up at some point, and the giving part usually is toward the end, and they kind of feel like this: wow, I could give something. And it's kind of like, you know, the least I could do is give back to the organization that helped me or something like that. And that's a good thing, to have that feeling. Maybe I could help the people that helped me. But when you really see this transformation, it goes from obligation to opportunity. Wow, I didn't lose everything. We didn't get the divorce. I have an opportunity to give. It's a transformation. And that's what I've seen happen in the recovery lives of so many people. If you're there, well, it's an amazing thing. You could do it instantly by texting 28950. That's where you text, and you text these words, NLM match, and it should direct you on how to support us, and so we can use those dollars that need to be matched.
Steve, I just did it because I'm inspired. Listeners, join us. It was super easy to do. Join me. Come on, let's really ring this in here.
All right. We'll be back right after this.
I was skeptical going into it.
Temptation is up, isolation is up. It's the very things that feed addiction.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
As they advertise, it really was a no-shame zone. I've now got a herd of men in my corner. That support system is huge.
During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop.
She saw the immediate change. By the end of the day yesterday, her and I had conversations, calm, respectful conversations. We've never been there.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Terry McIntosh, who knows everything, reminded me that 28950 is easier to remember. You text to 28950 NLM match, and that's a lot easier to remember and easier to do. And so please do that. Help us out. Or you can call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and say, oh, I'd love to be part of that. That would be great. Be part of the matching gift. Help you out. Get through this amazing virus time. And don't forget, you've got Steve's Quarantine Hour at 5 o'clock Eastern time every day here.
Sometimes starring Amelia.
She has
she's
been
a
on.
natural.
She really is. She's really quite incredible. And we had a great little interview, a little chat there about what kids go through during this time. But right now, you could call, as these folks have, and we're going to go right to the call. You could call us at 1-800-229-3000. Those are the phone numbers, 1-800-229-3000, and we will get to your call. We'll be in the studio for 2 hours. Really glad you're with us here today. Let's go to, how about we talk with Woody. Woody is calling from Hagerstown. I believe that's it, Hagerstown, Pennsylvania. I think that's it. Woody, here he is. Hey, how you doing? What's going on with you today, Woody?
Good. How you doing today?
Doing all right.
Just want to thank you for sending me the book a couple weeks ago, Life Recovery Bible.
Really? You like it, huh?
Yeah. In fact, since I'm legally blind, I can't find nobody here at the nursing home to read me the book. I got them in Meadow Dialysis. I found a patient out there. She offered to read it to me on the telephone.
Oh, I love that. That is so great. Do you know how to read Braille?
No.
Not yet. Okay, but you do have somebody to read stuff to you. I love that.
Yeah. In fact, this patient said she'd be willing to read the other books to me over the telephone. And then I called my dad a couple of weeks ago, asked him why he don't call me more often as he does. He says since I did with making him a power of attorney, he feels like he doesn't have nothing else to do with me anymore.
Oh, buddy.
So you didn't make him power of attorney, and he doesn't.
I did when I first got my house trailer.
Mm-hmm.
When I had my house trailer, I made him power of attorney. But then that was just enough to sell the trailer. Then I switched it over to my mom. After my dad see me after I had my second stroke.
Oh dear! And how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
Abandoned.
Yeah.
And here you are, in the middle of this crisis, having a stroke and needing to recover, and your dad's not there for you. I am so sorry for that. Really sorry.
I'm just trying to make the best I can of a bad situation.
Yeah.
Not allowed to leave the room right now. Not even allowed to take baths. You gotta give me a bath.
Wow.
Well, let me send you just because I'm grateful you called. Let me send you a little copy of this Take Your Life Back book, and that might be something that the person that's reading to you would enjoy reading to you.
Yeah.
And I just hope everybody will pray for you, but also that they would pray for your father, that he would have a change of heart, and that after all these years, he would finally perhaps grow up, become the man and the father that he was called to be. That'll be our prayer. And Woody, you just hang in there and tell that person reading to you, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send her, I'll send also along with this, one of our restoration Bibles that we're giving away. I'll send that to her, and you can give that to her. Yes, Jill.
And I just wanted to say, Woody, you are one of those people during the pandemic that is really hit by the isolation, I think, maybe even more than some of the rest of us. And I just want to commend you for how resourceful you are. Under great duress and limitations, you are finding a way to get some of what you need. I mean, certainly it's not all of what you need, but I just love that you have found a way to hear God's word.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
Woody, I remember your call, brother, and I remember that during the call, God told you, welcome home, Woody, since your father hasn't been able to provide that kind of home for you, and you are opening yourself up to that spiritual family being built, and you found this woman to read for you. You've been on my mind, sir, and in my prayers as well. So you keep in touch with us because your family's growing here.
All right, Woody, I'm so glad you called. Let's go to, how about we talk with, let's go over here and talk with Lee, Seattle, Washington, 1-800-229-3000. Hi there.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure. What's going on?
I have a question. I have a 35-year-old brother who's diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder and now living at home with my parents. He's had a history of being non-compliant with his antipsychotic meds, and my parents have disclosed he's been recently abusing Ativan. And over the last couple of years, his condition's been deteriorating, and I don't think it's safe for him to live with them or by himself. And I'm wondering, what are the next steps for our family to take for my brother's well-being?
All right. Jill, you want to start us off here?
Oh, this is such a hard one because I'm wondering if your parents are even on board with that. Do they recognize that it's not safe for them? I think, parents can tend to, be the last to recognize when you need to take it to the next level. So I'm hoping that you are able to speak some truth to them, Lee. I think it's really important that perhaps you, along with your parents, are involved with his doctors, and that, when someone is non-compliant, okay, he's an adult, but to be able to go with him to help to hear what is being said, as well as to be able to give some information is really important. And I don't know if he would go along with that, but finding a way to say, we're here with you and want to help with your care, and we realize life is tough for you, so let us come alongside you so that we know what the doctors are saying. And then the next step would be if there's, no family situation, it would be a board and care. And that's often the best because they regulate their medication. They do have freedom to go and work and to be involved in different activities. And there's different levels of care in terms of board and care facilities. But that would be the next step. And I know that can feel kind of harsh, but at a certain point, what's going to be best and in the best service of the entire family?
Alice, do you have a thought about this?
Well, a family member might also need to tell one of his primary doctors the concern about abusing Ativan, because that could possibly be changed to a medication that doesn't have such a high addictive potential to it, but that's still effective in treating what he needs treatment for. And Al-Anon is another great way to learn slowly but surely how to deal with enabling and the codependency that could help keep your brother stuck rather than moving him towards healing. And whether you are the one that goes, Lee, or you invite your parents to go along with you, that might lower defenses and open them up to some new information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm also going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And I would just say this. These situations, younger person with whatever they have, not willing to take medication, first, you talk with them. Second, you when they don't comply, you have to tell them that, there are consequences to not doing the things you need to do. You have freedom if you do this one thing, you take the medication. Here's the problem. Sometimes medication makes people feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it makes them feel different, takes away certain feelings, but it enables them to manage the rest. So they focus on the one part of it that doesn't feel good or that they don't like about it, and then they stop taking it and the rest becomes unmanageable. So we have to get them back in seeing that, look, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's better than the abuse or the neglect or whatever that happens as a result of not taking it. And the broken
relationship that happens as a result,
right.
Because when medicated, they can live great lives, right?
Well, that's right. And, I've said it on the air before. There are schizophrenic people that take their medication. They're living such a better life than folks that have nothing. They have no disorder whatsoever, but you have to take the medication. So it's tough. It's hard. You want to be kind and gentle to start, but kindness and gentleness doesn't always work. Here's a fallacy I think that a lot of parents have in situations like this. They believe that the most powerful thing in the world is love, which it is. I really believe that. And that love transforms. Here's where it falls apart. Love isn't always allowing someone to do what they want to do. That's not love. Love sometimes restricts. Sometimes love initiates consequences. Love isn't just, I'm going to express my affection and admiration, and then that's going to change the person. That is a one-dimensional view of love. So that one-dimensional concept of love does not transform. And how many people have gotten married thinking, well, he's not great now, but once I love him, he's going to be fantastic. Because love transforms, not that kind of love. And in fact, what that is presumption, and that's also a little bit of control too. I'll be able to control him with my love. Nope.
Or a fantasy. It's a little bit of a fantasy too.
Yeah.
Right?
Or a lot of fantasy.
One other thing occurs to me about Lee's brother. When someone's abusing Ativan, it's often because their discomfort level is so high, and Ativan is a good short-term solution. It certainly helps to numb out discomfort. So with anybody dealing with addictive behavior, it's always good to look beneath of what is it treating, what's the addiction treating them for, and then finding other avenues to help treat it. So talk therapy can be very effective for this with schizoaffective disorder. So just going back to Lee, that's another piece to consider.
Well, who would ever recommend to somebody, just take this medicine and everything's going to get better? You need connection. You need conversation. You need support. All right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. 1-800 if you want to help us. Or you could text to 28950 or 28950. Or 28950, one of those. 28950. You text the letters and word NLM match and help us with this amazing matching gift that has been provided for us. It is truly a gift from our great supporters, our faithful supporters, and we believe right from God also. Pam, Louisville, Kentucky. WFIA is that station that you listen to. How are you today? What's going on?
Yes, I'm doing well. I seek advice from a wise group of counselors. My husband and I have a daughter who's living the gay lifestyle, but she's actually she lived with a girlfriend, and we accepted the girlfriend in the home for Christmas and things like that because we wanted a relationship so we could introduce her to Christ. That blew up. And now our daughter is actually saying that she's transitioning to be a man. She had what they call a top job last year, and now she's living with a woman who says she's not gay. But my husband said it didn't work the last time when we tried to develop the relationship, so he doesn't allow the girlfriend in the home, but, has told our daughter that she's always welcome. But she's, shunned us and distanced us for the last 2 Christmases. And we pray for her. We try to keep the relationship, but it's just got a real small strand right now. Is there something we're missing? Just I'll be quiet, and of course we pray, and I fast once a week for her.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just be quiet and listen to some advice.
All right. Well, I've got to go to a break. When we come back, we'll try to give you some help here. And yeah, I'm so sorry you're going through this.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and we're talking here with Pam. Pam, over the years, I have to say that calls like yours have become some of my most heartbreaking calls, because I think what most parents would like are some magic words, a formula, anything to make it better. But so often, by the time anybody calls us, the person that, the child they're calling about is so into this other world and other existence that there aren't a lot of things that you can do. And it's almost like anything you do is kind of, if you just are loving, it's probably okay. If you lovingly don't allow your daughter to be there with a companion at Christmas, that's okay. If you decide that you're going to try that again and lovingly do that, that's okay. The main thing is you have absolutely no power whatsoever to do anything to impact your daughter, really. You could be mean and she could decide, I'm going to go back to the way I used to live. You could be perfectly loving, and she could decide, I'm never going to go away. So I'm not saying be mean. I'm saying it's her life, and you're not going to be able to change it. You want to do the best that you can. Now, here's why I'm saying all that. The priority is you and your husband, right?
Okay, yes.
He's the priority. And if he is not comfortable now with your daughter and a companion, then I would say the bigger issue for you, it isn't whether or not to let the daughter and her companion come for Christmas. The bigger issue is, can I be on the same page with my husband, or should we talk to a third party to get on the same page? You guys, I don't want this to tear you apart. You need each other. You have each other. And I want to say one more thing, then I'm going to turn this over to Alice and then Jill. You know, my wife does a group for women with sexual integrity problems, and you know, people have come to that group and they've been in gender transition. And that has stopped because they have felt the genuine love and compassion from other women that are strugglers in other areas of their life. And if there's anything that I could hope for your daughter, it would be that she would find a group where she might look at some options, because it's never too late to make a decision to take a different path, no matter what path we're on. And with that, Alice, what are your thoughts here? What could you say that would be helpful here?
Pam, I imagine that your husband is pretty overwhelmed with grief and a sense that he failed his daughter, and perhaps guilt that maybe he failed his religion too because he wasn't able to convert her or to convert the girlfriend. Do you think that might be true for him?
I think so.
Yeah.
And you know, and I want to respect him as the head of the household. So that's, you know, you guys are hitting it, the nail on the head.
Yeah. But then you probably feel torn, because if you respect your husband's limits that he has set, it tears you apart from your daughter. Is that right?
That's true.
And is your husband asking that you limit your communication with your daughter on an individual basis?
Yes. At first, he didn't like any of it, and I, you know, just I kept it up, and he didn't like it. But he's kind of relaxed that, and you know, if she texts me, I don't always tell him, so I don't, you know, irritate him. But he's moved it a little bit from that point. So I think he understands that I wanted the relationship to maintain with her, so that we have, you know, the line of communication open.
Has he demanded that you not get to know or meet with the new girlfriend?
No, they just won't. They know they're not welcome here, so she pretty much, you know, cut off communication for a good long time. But she's responding, and she's even had a couple of brief conversations with him. So that it's going better. But
the door's reopening.
Yeah.
Well, Pam, here's my suggestion for you. That you acknowledge to your husband that you believe he does feel this grief and failure and guilt, and as much as you genuinely can, that you also feel some of that as well, that as parents you feel like you have failed your daughter, to invite any expression of his emotion he's willing to give. He may or may not open up, but it would be generous of you to offer that to him and to just sit with him in what he says. But I think if you also honestly express, I'd like to meet up with my daughter, I would like to meet the girlfriend in order to keep this relationship growing so that we can continue to have future influence on her. Would you be okay with that? Would you let me do that? Would you come to an agreement with me about that? But I don't think I would hide it from him, and see what he says, see what he's willing to work with you on.
Okay, thank you for your advice. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
No, and I think the part about not hiding is so important, because if you're hiding and then he finds out, that's horrible. But the hiding separates the two of you. It's allowing the relationship you can't control to impact the relationship that you can. These are so hard. So hard. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Final comment from Dr. Hubbard on that situation.
Yeah, Pam, I just wanted to chime in, and I love everything that Steve and Alice were sharing with you, because I think grieving is a big part of this, and being able to bear these emotions together is so huge. But I also think there's some work that you can do in perhaps repairing this rupture that's happened with your daughter. You know, you really tried, like you guys were sincerely trying to meet her where she's at, and it broke down. And I'm sure you guys have talked about that, but I think it's important to really kind of look at that. After you acknowledge all the pain and how much hurt there is there, to really look at, okay, what did break down? And to even be able to talk with your daughter about that, you know, letting her know that, you know, we made this sincere attempt and we may have been misguided, but our hearts were in the right place and yet it broke down. Can you help us? You know, what do you see from your perspective as to why it broke down? And to kind of start to begin some talks about that. It's like, we want to move towards you, daughter. This is hard for us, but we love you. We want to move towards you. We want to look at what our part is as well in this relationship with you. And we realize this is just new territory for all of us. And Pam, you may need some help in doing that. You know, if you feel like you're hitting a rough patch or it's just too difficult, then you get some help. You and your husband get some help to kind of walk through, how do we repair this when we don't agree with our daughter, yet we love her so much. So I think that's important.
And one of the things that might help you is to ask her this question. We tried to influence you and your life as you were growing up. What was the, outside of us, what was the most influential thing, or who came along and influenced you the most outside of what you learned here at the house? Sometimes you hear a story about a babysitter, a friend's parent, things you never dream about, but they tell you now. This is who kind of became the most influential person in my life. All right, let's go to, how about we talk with Ann, Mobile, Alabama, WBHY. Hello there, Ann. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. How can we help?
My question is, so I have a son, 25. He lives with me. He's in college, and he does work. My problem with him is, one, he won't save any money. He eats it all up in fast food. He has nothing to show for what he works for. And he has a car that I bought when he was in high school. He drives crazy. I saw him driving crazy. Almost had an accident the other day. So I want the car out of my name. My question is, since he spends all his money on fast food, should I make him pay me like a nominal amount, $500 for the car, get it out of my name, put it in his name? And my second question is, should I give him a bill to pay? That way I know he's done something with his money, and he doesn't save any of it.
Well,
and,
all right.
unlike the other callers that I was listening to, he doesn't ask me for anything. The only thing I was helping him with was his college tuition, which I've cut him off on that too, since he eats his money up.
And where's Dad in all this?
He does not have, he doesn't like his dad. He doesn't have a relationship with his dad because his dad wasn't really around when he was growing up, and so he started wanting to come around, but I tried to encourage it, but he's grown now, and my son doesn't want any part of him.
Any other male influence in his life?
Yes, his grandfather, my dad, who's an enabler. You can't say anything to his grandkids. He enables his grandkids, whatever they want to do.
Does he give them money?
No.
Okay.
And how do you feel about a 25-year-old son living at home with you still?
Well, in a perfect world, he wouldn't be living with me. But, excuse me, he does work part-time, and I know he can't afford rent on his own, and I'm not going to give him rent. So I'm not going to pay his rent. So when he leaves, he has to be ready to stand on his own. And it's fine while he's in school. He's working and he's in school, so that's why I'm okay with it. But
he's 25.
When he gets that degree, he has. Yeah.
When does he get his degree?
He said he has about 7 classes. He said 7 classes. Now, how long that's going to take, I don't know.
Yeah. And how do you think your son feels about his life? Like, is he happy with where he's at in life? Does he think he's doing well? What's his maturity level? He's 25, but most kids are done with school by 25, unless they're going to school part-time.
But one, he's going part-time. Okay. 2, he was a late grad. He has a late birthday, and he was a late graduate.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, as far as I don't know. I've called before. He's had some kind of mental health things, and he seems to be okay. But in the past, he was not happy with his life. But when I talk to him now, he says he's okay with it. But
so I think so I think you're having all these ideas and thoughts and feelings about where he's at and wanting to help him or wanting him to take on more responsibility. I think you need to maybe start by including him in this process and kind of starting to, a lot of times we talk about a structured plan to help to launch someone. So it's like, okay, son, I see that you're here and you've got 7 more classes. Why don't you and I come up with some ideas of how to help you reach the goals that you have in life, or at least goals for the next few years? And that would be, you know, as your mom, I want to make sure that you can support yourself and that you can really launch into an adult. And so I think we need to do some graduated steps to help you get there. And so then you outline, you know, like, okay, you know, let's outline how long school is going to take. Let's outline, okay, you're making this much money. What does this afford you to do? And are you content with that? And, you know, as you move along, you're going to need to take responsibility for your car and your car insurance and your gas, and come up with some steps that help him to feel good about himself. And you frame it that way. I want you to feel good about yourself, like you're a capable adult, and then you're not a man who's depending on his mother. And so you frame Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, I think it's a great plan. And, you know, I think, too, just there's not a problem with just accepting that he's had some difficulties and struggles, and that, it might take him till he's 27 to get that degree, and you want to help him. But you don't want to wait for him to grow up when he graduates. You want to be saying, we want you to move toward independent maturity and character, and see if he could get on board with that.
You know, and even, starting to put money in savings, things like that. It's important at a younger age.
So that is one of the things that would show a little bit of a sign of maturity is, hey, we open a savings account and you start there. Little bit of money at a time. All right. Let me send you Every Man, God's Man. This is a book that could help him see some things of character that he might want to see. Alice, you had a thought?
Well, Ann, I think you can see clearly that your dad is an enabler. My sister, can you see that you are also an enabler?
Oh, me? I'm an enabler?
You are. You're an enabler who's trying to move out of it. And you sense that something is wrong with how much your son takes advantage of your generosity. You sense that. But I think it's hard for you to put into practice what Jill and Steve are saying. You see the truth, but it's real hard to practice it. Do you think that's true about you?
I don't know.
I
don't see myself as an enabler.
Well, I think you've allowed your son to take a lot of ground and to really enjoy the freedom of being able to live under your roof. And I think you're saying he's living rent-free. So...
he does live rent-free.
Oh, okay, so that is a sign that you're letting him live off of your hard work a little too much. So to put into practice what Jill is saying, I think you're going to need some other strong women around you who can help you not just know the truth, but enforce it even when your son gets upset with you for making life a little harder on him. Because if you do that now, it'll be a lot better for him and whomever he marries in the long run. So you're on the right track. Keep going, but get some good support around you, please.
Okay. I'm going to send you one of these restoration Bibles. I think you're going to like it. Anybody else, you can get one free, too. We'll be back after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, May 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got released.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Let me mention a couple of things to you. First of all, I have a 14-page guide that I call 10 Ways to Overcome Your Fears and Anxiety. It's a free resource I developed for the COVID-19 crisis. And my song, Virus Night, COVID Night, is not on there, but that can help too. But 10 Ways to Overcome Your Fears and Anxiety. It's 14 pages. I sat down and wrote out what I felt every expert would tell you to do. And if you or somebody are struggling, you can get that by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. By the way, we're on Facebook Live right now, and we'll be on there an hour later because when we tape a program, we broadcast it live while we're in the studio. Why not do that? And we're going to do that right after this, and you could join us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And maybe you cannot help us hugely with that matching gift, and maybe you could join Club New Life, and you could say, hey, make my Club New Life match. And so that's $30 a month, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, newlife.com. And our new text to give operation is 28950. 28950. You text 28950 and you text this NLM match, and a little thing will come up and ask you how much. Okay.
Steve, and all the parents that have driving age children, you got to hear Jill's, she has a great solution.
Oh, okay. Well, we were just talking at the break, and they wanted me to share my story of how I kind of conquered some enabling that was happening in my family. And we're a divorced family, so the challenges of parenting between divorced parents is rather difficult. So the car is, I feel like driving is a privilege. It's not a right. And so at times, I've taken the car away, and it's always this big struggle of getting the car keys and then hiding the car keys and all of that. So I just decided, I went on Amazon and I ordered the club. And one day when my son was giving me a hard time, I just went out and I put the club on his car. And so he came out the next day to find that his car had the club. And you know what? It worked like a charm. There was no arguing. There was no going to dad and letting dad give it to him. It just, that was it. So it's worked great.
That is.
Sometimes you need those absolutes.
Motto.
So order it on Amazon, but through Smile, and the New Life donation, folks, please.
Yes.
That is amazing. Well, that's a great story. And I'm really
it worked.
glad
it worked really well.
You shared that. Okay, let's go to, how about we go to John, Durant, Oklahoma, KWRD. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. What's going on with you today?
So, I've been put in an impossible situation between my wife and my mother and my family.
What happened?
About 2 years ago, me and my wife were helping to renovate my mother's house, and my little brother decided to take charge and ended up saying a lot of stuff to me, my wife. My wife has borderline personality disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So it sent her into a spiral. And when we got home later that night, she ended up saying, texting a lot of things to my mother. And one of the things was, I hope that my niece dies in the womb.
Oh.
Oh my
She
goodness.
openly admits that was wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
She feels
That's
bad
very
about
hurtful.
that. She just
Yeah.
But now my parents don't want anything to do with me as long as I'm with her, but I've told them I don't have to talk about her while I'm over there. I don't have to, acknowledge that, or not acknowledge, but I don't have to talk about her. They don't have to talk about her. It's just about me when I'm over there. And that doesn't go over. It just falls on deaf ears, which I understand they have the right to protect my niece. I'm all
Did
for
she
that.
apologize for that?
She did.
And they still, it's just really hard. It's just a really tough thing for somebody to hear. And is your wife getting any kind of help for being whatever she is?
She is in counseling.
Uh-huh. And are you seeing any progress there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Good. John,
Well,
has she made more than one attempt to reconcile with all those family members she affected by her text?
Yes, but it doesn't go anywhere.
What happens? How does the family respond to her attempts?
They just hang up the phone and won't have anything to do with her, which that's fine. If they don't want anything to do with her, okay. But to put me in the position of, if you're going to be with her,
that feels
you're
hurtful
not
to
going
you.
see us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That feels like they're rejecting you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have to have anything to do with her, and I've told them that. They just need to, I want a relationship with them,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not willing to have a relationship with me as long as I'm with her.
And how
And I'm
long
just
ago
having a
was
hard
it that
time
she said this
reconciling
hurtful
my
thing?
choice.
How long ago did she say
About
the
2
hurtful
years.
thing? 2 years ago.
About 2
Yeah,
years.
it is. It's time that they could have forgiven her to the extent of certainly having you in their life and you be with them. So, Alice, Joe, you got any wisdom here for him other than, which is always the answer, you may have to be very big on acceptance and grieving big loss here. But what are you guys thinking?
Well, I feel sad for you, John, and I feel like maybe your family has some of the characteristics that you also find in your wife, and that they both are kind of intolerant and kind of expecting total allegiance. And that's just unrealistic. I mean, certainly, the idea of leaving and cleaving, you are supposed to support your wife now, and you have made a vow to be with her. And I'm really sad that your family, while I understand their need to protect themselves, that's just so hurtful. I'm wondering, Steve, about our book, Understanding and Loving a Person with Borderline Personality Disorder, if that might be something helpful for your family. Would they be willing?
I'll send you a couple of copies of it so that you can have a copy also. I do think it will help you. Here is where people have to rise above the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And try to connect no matter what. And these third-party things where if you're going to stay with your wife,
yeah, like that,
you can't come and have a relationship with us, horrifically destructive. And like you say, then those things play out with reproducing that in a marriage with also somebody that would be very, very tough to live with. All right. We're just about out of time. I am going to send him Understanding and Loving a Person with Borderline Personality Disorder. These books, there's also one, Understanding and Loving a Person who's bipolar. Understanding and Loving a Narcissistic Personality Disorder. A lot of great books there you could get at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I will remind you that some very generous people supported us with a matching gift. And if you could help us unleash $376,534, all you have to do is call 1-800-NEW-LIFE, go to newlife.com, or you could text to this number, 28950 or 289 or 28950. How about that? 28950 NLM match. Also, don't forget, Every Man's Battle is coming up in May. It's a one-day amazing, transformational experience. Come be part of that. If you want to join us for the next program, we're on Facebook Live, and you can call us 1-800-229-3000. Have a great day today.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.